What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new episode. I'm so fired up for this one because today is the day that we're starting the series of the EF Hatch. This is my 1990 Honda Civic Si, and today I'm going to be walking you through the car, showing you kind of what we got going on, the story behind it, what it needs, what is good, what is bad, and pretty much what my future plans are for it. So to give you guys a little bit of a background, I had been searching for an Si specifically for about a year. I was looking on Marketplace, Craigslist, but I wasn't really finding anything, and the ones I did come across were either like DXs, gutted out, or just pretty beat up. So I decided to give that search up, but then I remembered about an auction site called Copart, which they sell cars all over the world to dealerships and some specific cars to the public. So I went in there, I typed in what I was looking for, and luckily this thing came up. But the crazy thing about it is that it was the only Si on the whole site, and it was due to go on sale in 3 days. So immediately I got excited. I was like, holy shit, this is meant to be. So I kept track on it, and on the day of the sale I was on the computer, and once it came up I immediately hit the bid button to make sure that I was in there. And then time goes by, and then someone else bids on it, so it goes to about $450. So then I hit the bid button again to $500, and then time was running out, and as there was seconds on it, I was so nervous, and then it hit sold, and holy shit, I'm gonna see if I can find the clip of when I bought it so I can share it with you guys. But yeah, so now I have it in my possession, and I'm finally ready to start working on it and bringing my vision to life. So starting out with the front, this is pretty much where the only damage is on the car, because the rest of it's pretty clean. But you can see that the hood's a little bit crooked because of the impact that it had here on the passenger side. But I should still be able to save it because this is the only spot where it has any damage. But I'm definitely going to have to replace the bumper filler as well as the bumper and the passenger side fender. And although it looks pretty beat up, if I could open the hood here for you guys, you can see that underneath here it didn't come further than any of the outside parts, so that's a really good sign. And check out how clean this engine bay is. It has all the stock shit, and usually that air box is the first thing that everyone switches out for a cold air intake. So yeah, pretty cool that it's all intact, but more on this later. Alright, moving on to the passenger side here now. Like I had said, the fender here is pretty beat up, but what I'm thinking that happened is they must have got sideswiped, and then the car carried on to hitting the side here of the door, which then took out the moldings, but I already got those at the junkyard. So all I'm gonna have to do here is kind of body work the side, and it should be good to go. But the thing that really impresses me about this car is how little rust it actually has, because if you know Hondas, you know that these rear quarter panels are usually always rusted out and just looking awful. So this one has them fully intact. And the driver's side actually is equally as good. I'll show you when we get over there. But yeah, this car, I think I got super lucky on it for $500, man. I could not pass it up. I know I could have waited a little bit longer to see if an even cleaner Si popped up on Marketplace or Craigslist, but even if it did, I would have ended up paying more for it anyway. And depending on the condition, it would have been, I don't know, anywhere between $200 to $3,500. So I figured for that amount of money I could just do all the work myself and have the body looking, spectacular for that amount of money. So that's why I ended up pulling the trigger on this one. Alright, now moving on to the rear end of the car. This is one of my favorite parts of the car because it's so clean. The only thing that's really wrong is this crack in the bumper right here, but that should easily be able to get fixed. But other than that, everything is here. Factory exhaust still. It's got the emblems, all the lights work, even the one on the spoiler here. And then we also got back here, let me get under here for you guys. We got the rear sway bar, so I'm thinking of in the future replacing it with a thicker one. That way it could give us the better handling in the rear. But other than that, the back side of this car is super clean. So now onto the driver's side. Like I was telling you, on the passenger side, the rear quarter panels on this thing are super clean. No rust on this one either. And this number right here, that's the amount of miles that the car has, 185,261. And then I'm still gonna be able to salvage this driver's side fender. It does have some rust here. I don't know if when I sand it down, I'm gonna end up going through the metal or if it's gonna be able to get saved, but we're gonna give it a try and see what happens. Little bit of damage here, some dents. And then I'm gonna need to get the side markers on both sides for the car. But yeah, super clean, I think. So pretty much all the way around except the front is where, like I said, is gonna need most of the work. But yeah, I think I got a pretty solid car here. Oh, and going back to the, let me pop this open for you guys. Earlier I had said that I had more on the engine bay, and as I was looking more into it, you can see that it says D15B2 on there, but from factory these came with the D16A6. So unfortunately the previous owner swapped out the engine, and I don't know the history on it, so I don't know if like it blew up or if it spun a bearing or what happened. But I guess the cool thing about it is that they still kept the more modern fuel injection stuff on here. So it still has the 4 injectors, whereas this engine typically would have the dual point fuel injection. So I'm thinking that they must have only replaced the engine, and the transmission hopefully is still factory. I'll know more when I pull this out. But at least now I don't feel guilty about doing a swap on it, because if it was the factory engine, I think I would just leave it stock as long as I could, and then just fix up the body, make it look super clean, and call it a day. But at least now it gives me the opportunity to just pretty much do whatever I want with it. Alright, now before I share my plans with you guys, I want to show you how clean the interior of this car is. Still got the original cluster, the wheel, and it still even has the factory stereo, which is crazy because, you know, usually everyone switches those out for the aftermarket ones to be able to play the Bluetooth, but this one still has everything, and everything works on here. Original shifter, the e-brake with the cool little like seatbelt message here. And then I even found this booklet here. Look at that old retro Honda logo, how cool that is. Even the Audi and the Porsche and everything. And then I think that's where they bought it, is Howard Cooper, and they must have bought it out of Ann Arbor, Michigan, so that's cool. And then I was looking in here and it still has the warranty booklet, so that's pretty cool. I'm gonna end up definitely keeping this. But yeah, everything is super clean in here. Let me get the keys out so I can show you how everything works here. But yeah, everything on this car still works. Like, we got the sunroof opening and closing, and then we got the cool little seatbelt indicator there on the rear view. All the lights work, the hazards, you see them working. Let me block the sun. Blinkers work. All the lights still work. There's sun out, so you probably won't be able to see them, but they still work. And then check this out, the heater and even the AC is still lights on and off, and it does blow cold surprisingly, so that's pretty dope. I think I'm gonna end up getting rid of the AC in this car, but obviously I won't know for sure until we get there, but I think that's the route I'm trying to take. And then the door panels still super clean, no cracks on them. This one too on the passenger side. I think the inside of this car is honestly cleaner than the outside, because even the seats are still in good condition. The only bad thing about it is this tear on the driver's side, but the passenger side is all good to go, and then the rear seats are equally as clean. So yeah, I think all around I got a pretty good deal on the car. Like I said, for 500 bucks, I don't think I can, you know, complain about it. And being that I got it so cheap, like that gives me even more freedom to spend the extra money I would have spent on a cleaner one to, you know, start making it exactly how I envisioned it from the beginning. I plan on making this pretty much a show quality street car. I don't want to just make it a straight up show car because I don't want to keep it in the garage all the time, but I don't want to also be like daily in the car. So yeah, I want to make it a streetable show car and then end up putting a turbo on the D16 Z6 that I plan on putting on here. So it's gonna take a minute to get it to that point, but all the work is definitely gonna be worth it. So I hope you guys join me on this journey. It's gonna be a lot of hard work, but also a lot of learning. So I hope you guys learned along the way too and stick with me through the whole thing. So thank you guys for everyone who stayed watching throughout the whole video. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.